You're watching News 24 Live and I'm Jerusha Sukthio-Rath. Now, middle to higher income South Africans got some bad news in Minister Nhlanhla Nene's budget speech yesterday, and that's that tax will be going up. But if you want to find out whether you're now in a higher tax bracket or whether you're going to be paying more tax, visit Fin24 and you can use our tax calculator. Now, the Wits Radio Academy investigated this very issue on this week's episode of The Science Inside. They looked at the science behind tax. I'm joined by the Wits Radio Academy's Paul McNally. And Paul, as somebody who's known you for a while now, I must implore you to start filing your tax returns. You told the entire country that it's been years since you filed a tax return.
Yeah, there is something about being in front of a microphone that just makes you be very honest, I think. Yeah, I will. I am. Lots of people are telling me to do that. So you're not the first person after hearing that to comment on I will start filing my tax return.
For the first time, I sincerely hope that SARS and South African officials are not watching News 24 Live, because otherwise you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, we thought that would be the best way to start. We wanted to start the show with that, a show about tax and filing tax, mainly because I haven't filed a tax return for years. And we wanted to start with the forensics of tax and how, what SARS does when they get someone red flagged and how they go about investigating someone who does not pay their tax.
Now, what was really fascinating to me about that segment of the show was the SARS officials just know every single trick in the book, and they're pretty good at crooking the books if they wanted to themselves.
Yeah, well, that was the interesting part. The guy that we interviewed, he was in forensics for many years for SARS, but now he doesn't work for them. And he was able to be quite candid in not only how you investigate someone, like all the tricks that you do to try and find out if someone isn't paying their taxes, but then also if he wanted to go on to a life of tax dodging, he's pretty equipped to do that.
Now, you also explored issues around green tax, and you really know that with the country's electricity crisis, South Africa is trying to pump more money into more coal burning and to nuclear power stations. But really, a lot of people are saying that South Africa needs to get greener, and one of the ways government is trying to implement this is with green taxes.
Yeah, I mean, like most weeks, we like to take an issue and then take it from all different sides. And we really wanted to look into carbon tax, and specifically because we are a huge producer of CO2. We emit so much of it into the atmosphere. And we wanted to look at if it's really working, if it stops companies from, if you tax them with this carbon tax, does it even stop them emitting the CO2? Or is it just a case of like, okay, we'll do that, and then we'll also pay the bill? So we wanted to look at it from all different sides.
Now, when you spoke about green tax, and then when you go on to speak about sin tax, which we're going to chat about in a moment, you mentioned the concept of ring fencing. Have I got that right?
Yeah, ring fencing. I mean, essentially the idea that it's an interesting topic, because whenever you think of carbon tax, you think that, okay, I'm going to be paying, a company's going to be paying this carbon tax, and then that money specifically is going to go to help the environment. And the same with sin tax. If you're buying a packet of cigarettes, you kind of have this image of the money that I'm paying on this packet of cigarettes is going to a lung ward and is going to help someone who's got some horrific smoking-related disease. And that is not necessarily the case at all. It's too complicated to do as an administrative venture. So the money is sort of just basically could be going to paying, for a president's house or something like that. So
yes,
yeah,
absolutely. I think a lot of South Africans probably believe that their sin tax and green tax are sitting in a chicken kraal or chicken run.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk a little bit about sin tax, because every single year smokers and drinkers around the country are interested in that very specific part of the finance minister's speech, and quite frankly, every year sin tax goes up.
Yeah, exactly. And it is something that we wanted to go into because of that, because it is the thing that you are wanting to know about, especially if you're a smoker or a drinker. And we wanted to look at, first of all, the ring fencing, but then also if it even goes into helping someone, because there's this huge irony in that it's a deterrent. Okay, it's supposed to be a deterrent, that your cigarettes are going up and up, but the government doesn't want to stop you smoking because it makes so much money out of you. So there's this horrible irony that you will basically keep smoking until you give the country enough money, really.
You even touched on the legalization of marijuana and whether taxing a product like marijuana would work. Do you think it would?
I think it would work and it would make a lot of money. I don't think it would work and it would stop people smoking. I mean, we did a show last year about legalizing marijuana where I got so many hate SMSs yeah, so much backbiting. I don't know if we really want to go back into that topic. But I think, yeah, I think if we tax marijuana, I think we'd make a lot of money from it. I think the quality would probably go up. And, you know, at the end of the day, I don't think it would stop or change how many people smoke.
Now, the last thing I want us to talk about is the issue of tax havens. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I certainly don't have enough money for me ever to be considering putting my money offshore in some type of tax haven. But what is it? And more importantly, if there are ways and institutions and places that allow... Did you hear that?
That's a car hooting, isn't it?
Yeah. Are you close to a window, Paul?
Oh, yeah.
No, don't worry, don't worry. I'll just redo the question.
Okay.
Joburg, yeah. Can we just do that last question again? Okay. Now, Paul, I don't know about you, but I certainly don't earn enough money to ever be concerned about a tax haven. But that's the last part of the show that you looked at. So won't you chat to us a little bit about what tax havens are and why they exist? I mean, why are there places in the world where you can get away with not paying taxes?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a place where, and South Africa traditionally has their tax haven money put in Switzerland, usually. And it is a place where it's almost like a black hole, where you can go and put your money offshore and it goes out of circulation. It becomes completely undetectable from the tax man. And I asked our expert that same question, sort of, how does this exist? Surely it should be clamped down, they should be closed down. And really, it's a case that big businesses like banks who would do this tax haven for you, it's also in their interest to keep them alive. So, I mean, it sounds a little bit like a conspiracy theory, but there is a sense that, you know, big business has an interest in keeping tax havens alive. So therefore, the little man, if we ever get enough money to be able to do a tax haven, then we'll also benefit as well.
That's this week's episode of The Science Inside. To listen to the full episode, you can look just below this video and leave your opinion on tax in the comments section below. Paul, thanks so much, and we'll catch up again next week.
Thanks very much.